Welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about ID Invaded episode 6, and there's a lot of stuff we learned in this episode, so like always, let's just jump into it. So episode 6 literally started where episode 5 left off, with Handomochi pretty much confronting Inami, the grave digger killer, and it's pretty much confirmed that she is the killer. Inami and Kazuta were in league together, and Kazuta was helping her, I guess, get the victims, because you know that brain damage that he has does not allow him to be detected by the little well machine that detects like the intent to kill and the killer particles and all that. So that's how they were doing it. But man, Handomochi, if she's not a beast, if you don't think she's a beast, I don't know what to tell you, because this girl, she killed it, okay? She was able to not only find out who the gravedigger was, she was also able to find out like Kazuta was in the room and lured him out. Now, don't get me wrong. Whoever said not to bring a knife into a gun battle has not seen this Kazuta person with a knife, okay? I mean, this dude was dodging bullets, throwing knives. He got a bullet through the hole in his head and was almost able to stab Handomochi. But again, that girl, she's a beast. She was able to grab the knife and stab him and pretty much kill him. And then, of course, the last second before Kazuta dies, he pretty much kisses her, right? Because again, remember, his brain damage, he kind of has that, you know, love and murder mixed up. So I guess him kissing her was kind of like his last thing, saying, you know, I really want to kill this person because, you know, he's in love with Inami. And if, you know, the police survive, she's pretty much done for, right? And as you can see, Inami didn't put up a fight. She didn't complain. She went with the police. She cooperated. And man, when she showed Handomochi and what's the other guy, Matsuaka, when she showed him the computer with the live stream of all the people in there, like just decomposing and dead, man, that was brutal. This girl is crazy, okay? 100%, nah, 120% crazy, okay? She's definitely up there. Now, we also learned more about like Matsuaka. We know from past episodes that he does not like Sakaido, okay? Like he just, after Sakaido committed the crime that he did, he pretty much thinks Sakaido is like the scum of the earth. And he recommends Handomochi to become like the next great detective, so she can go into the well and pretty much deduce who the killer is. Pretty much he wants Handomochi to do what Sakaido is doing right now. And now, is she gonna be able to do it? We don't know. But pretty much Matsuaka caught her out, right? Because again, remember in the first episode, she tried to commit suicide, and she kind of pretty much figured out who the gravedigger was, who the gravedigger killer was, before anybody else. Like she had a clue way before everybody else. And on top of that, she just killed Kazuta. And we learned if you're trying to go into the well, you need to be like, you need to be smart, right? You need to be able to like deduce who the killer is. You need to be smart. You need to have a high IQ level. But on top of that, you need to have killed somebody. And not just kill somebody, but you also need to be a serial killer. Now, I don't know if for Handomochi, it counts that she tried to commit suicide and then she killed Kazuta and all that stuff. But, you know, Matsuaka pretty much said, you know, he's doing it to protect all his colleagues. And Handomochi is the best bet because he thinks she's the best person for the job right now, right? Rather her than Sakaido. Now, I don't know if Handomochi is going to turn out to be like a villain later on in the series, because once, you know, Matsuaka even called her out on it. Like, did she enjoy killing Kazuta, right? Like, is she putting herself in harm's way to kill somebody and get that, you know, that high of killing somebody? Maybe that's what she's after, and she's putting herself in all these dangerous situations. Again, we don't know what that drill in her head did. Maybe she also got some brain damage now, and maybe that's how John Walker is getting into all these murderers' heads and creating murderers, making them kill other people. Maybe that's the way John Walker is doing everything. Because they also talked about John Walker, right? They had theories as to who he is and why he's connected to all the murderers. I mean, it was, I think, 6 murderers he was connected to, because he appeared inside the well, and he appeared in all the wells looking with the same costume. So they're thinking he either has like a prototype of the machine that they're using, or he's like an inside man. They got all these theories as to who this John Walker is, and it kind of puts it into perspective, right? Because now you're wondering who, if it's somebody on the inside, who could it be, right? Hey, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's Sakaido himself, right? You got to think, every time he goes into the well, he forgets everything, right? But what if there's like another side of his brain that's John Walker, and he's able to, like, you know, do all these crazy stuff in other people's minds? That would just be an insane plot twist. I mean, it's pretty much off the rails, I believe. I don't think Sakaido is also going to be the main villain, John Walker. But it could be. And I mean, I'm just saying, this episode was definitely on fire. The animation with Kasuta and Handomochi going at it with the knife and the shooting and everything was amazing. I thought it was very, very well done. Definitely the best fight scene we had in this anime. Now, we don't get a lot of fight scenes, but when it does happen, I think the animation is done really, really well. Now, another thing I want to talk about was pretty much we learned that they went inside Kasuta's house and they saw surveillance equipment. And they figured out that surveillance equipment was used in a previous case. Like they got that equipment from a previous case, and that case was from the Challenger murderer. And we know who that is, because that's the person that killed Sakaido's family. So big reveal right there, because now we know that John Walker has a connection to the person that killed Sakaido. I mean, who killed Sakaido's family. So I really want to know who this John Walker is and what his connection to Sakaido is going to be, right? Because he has to have a goal. This John Walker has to have a goal, unless his whole goal is to just create mayhem and murderers, if that's his only goal. But I think it's going to go a step beyond that, right? I'm definitely want to know more about John Walker and his connection to Sakaido. And if they ever do capture this John Walker person, what is Sakaido going to do to this dude? That's going to be like a mental battle of a whole new level, especially if they're able to go into John Walker's well. Because again, remember the drill murderer, he was able to go into his own well and fight Sakaido, kind of like he had like his consciousness was running away from Sakaido. So if John Walker is like the top of the top in criminal murderers, he's probably going to be able to like go at it with Sakaido inside the well and throw him off. So, I mean, this episode, I mean, I was standing, I was excited, I was all over it, because I was definitely in love with this episode. They definitely killed it. I mean, what more can you say? All the reveal that we got. I'm wondering now how many episodes this anime is going to be. Because if it's only 12, that means we're halfway there. And I honestly don't want it to end. I think this episode was the best episode of ID Invaded that we gotten so far. Just from the reveals and like Handomochi, right? That character came out of nowhere, because I thought she was going to be like another, just your typical extra character in the anime. But she's stepping up to be like main character level, right? And I wonder if next episode they're actually going to let her go inside the well and start doing what Sakaido is doing. Like if they're going to test it out, see how far she can get. Man, I don't know. I honestly think this Handomochi, because she was excited when Matsuaka told her, hey, they're going to, you know, I recommended you and all that. And she was thanking him. And she's like, you know, that's going to be so much responsibility. I'm going to be able to like do so much more. But that makes me wonder, right? What if John Walker is behind all of this, right? What if he knew that the most likely person to turn on the police was Handomochi, and that's why he had the drill guy kidnap her and drill a hole into her head just to kind of get her on that side of John Walker, like so he can get her on his side. That would be a big plot twist. And if it happens, you heard it here first. This episode, I mean, I can't even say anymore. 10 out of 10. Loved it. I can't wait for the next episode. I'm definitely gonna be waiting on there as soon as it goes live so I can watch it, because I don't even know what's coming and I can't wait for it. So like always, go ahead and leave me a like, go ahead and subscribe. Tell me what was the best part of this episode for you. And I will see you on the next episode.